Shabbat Shalom. This summer, on August 8th and 9th, we will be celebrating 25 years of rabbinic leadership on the part of our beloved rabbi, or should I say, Dr. Marla Hornston. During one of our planning sessions, I recalled an encounter with a temple member who approached me and said, "Rabbi, I just read the essay you wrote for your 25th anniversary, and it meant a lot to me." "That's very nice," I responded, "but I wrote that essay years ago. How did you come across it now?" "Oh," he said, "I keep it in my tax file so that I get to read it every April." Now, on the one hand, I was flattered that he thought enough of the piece to save it, but on the other, I found myself disconcerted that every year he would be reading it when he was bound to be in a bad mood. So I went back to the messenger to find that essay, which was entitled 25 Lessons for 25 Years. "When in conflict," I wrote back then, "make gentle approaches and gentle retreats." I still use that one often in counseling. But then there was one I hadn't even remembered. It read simply, "It's not all about you." It's not all about me? Let's face it, that's how it feels to our existential selves. I once heard a young man tell of competing in a high school pole vaulting competition and praying for his opponent to stumble, which he subsequently did. His conclusion was that clearly the world really did revolve around him. It's like living in a pre-Copernican universe, he explained, where the planets revolve around the sun, but no one has realized it yet. Each of us, you see, is secretly like that high school pole vaulter, with the universe revolving around our own sun, our own needs, our own perspective, our own egos, and our own feelings. We are at the epicenter of our own perceptions. We cannot help it. But of course, that does not really represent the truth. So like the high school pole vaulter, we each live in the darkness of our own limited and shadowed perspective. Our Torah portion this week, however, begins with the words, "V'halotecha et hanirot," in the raising of the lamps. And that, I believe, is truly what this religion of ours is all about. Like Copernicus, we Jews are called to raise the lamp of enlightenment in an ever-darkening world. We take up the bright flame of Torah in order to see beyond our own limited circle of experience. To switch metaphors slightly here, think of the Torah as a giant telescope. It lets us see beyond our own atmosphere into the heavens, to gain perspective and to see the world more clearly. And thus, when we gaze through its sacred lens, we suddenly recognize that we are actually part of something much greater than ourselves. And what do we see? Well, for one thing, we see that the God which resides in me is the very same God that resides in the soul of that Schmendrick who is driving me crazy. Which means that we must strive to find God in every living being, including our annoying relatives and even our enemies. I call it radical empathy. Now, as some of you know, I am in the process of writing a book entitled Loving More by Caring Less. Caring, I define as how we feel, how I feel. True love, however, is defined as focusing on the real needs of the other. When we allow our children to play with that fun but dangerous toy, it may feel like caring, but it may not be loving. When that annoying relative does come to town, we may feel compelled to confront them with their foibles. But if we do, It should only be after trying to understand the world from their perspective. And in that light, I would bring to bear another of my 25 lessons for 25 years. It reads, rather than being angered by another person's idiosyncrasies, try enjoying them instead. After all, they would probably be hysterical on a sitcom. But what if it is not just annoying behavior? What if it is something beyond that? Abuse, bullying, aggression. What do we do in those situations? Well, this theory of loving more by caring less would suggest that having endeavored to see the world through the eyes of that opposing pole vaulter, or that wrong-headed political party, or that difficult family member, or even that rogue nation in the Middle East, we may still have to take a stand, no matter how uncomfortable or difficult that may make us feel. Which brings us inevitably and sadly to Iran. Iran is on the verge of developing a weapon which eventually will lead to cataclysm. Iran, after all, cannot be trusted to practice nuclear self-restraint, since she presently funds virtually every major modern violent terrorist organization in the world. Even the International Atomic Energy Agency has finally admitted that Iran has broken its nuclear agreements, which is why Israel had to act now. When any bully threatens to deploy the nuclear option, the true and loving act is to take that dangerous weapon out of their hands. For there is no bright future for the region once Iran has that very dangerous but shiny toy that she is so desperately striving to obtain. So, in the pole vaulting competition that we call life, we should always recognize that it is not all about us. And yes, we should strive to see the world through the eyes of the other. And yet, having done so, we, like the state of Israel today, do sometimes find ourselves with the moral obligation to take a stand, to do the difficult thing, to stand up to the bullies in our world, recognizing that paradoxically, it is often for their own good. For that too is radical empathy. That too is loving more by caring less. Which is why we now conclude with a musical prayer, one which asks God to bless the Israeli pilots and soldiers involved in this daring but dangerous mission, known as Operation Rising Lion, and to protect the people of Israel as ballistic missiles fall upon them. May they have the strength of lions as they act decisively to protect Israel, to protect the region, and indeed, to protect all of us. Kei nihi ratzon. May it be your will, O God, and let us say, Amen.